My craziest home improvement idea is back. And in today's video, I'll be using some sparkling glitter and basic acrylic paint to turn my bland, boring toilet into a stunning piece of art. Hello, my friends. Welcome back to another video. So, my husband may actually throw me out of the house when he gets home, but who says that the toilet has to be so bland? Yes, you could buy a toilet seat to, kind of zhuzh it up, but I want to create some art on my toilet tank lid. Now, I did this a few years ago. It came out beautiful, and it just so happens that I had to get a new toilet for my downstairs bathroom. We barely ever use it, but nonetheless, we're going to do this. So here I have the lid. This is the lid to the tank. On the back side or underneath of it, I have taped it off because you don't want to get any type of paint or anything like that underneath that prohibits it from fitting back on the lid. So I'll show you that. This is all I did. I just taped the underneath and made sure to cover any area where I did not want paint or anything else to affect it fitting back on the toilet. So the major area of concern is the lip right here. All right, right here. So you want to make sure that's protected. Along the ridge here, the upper ridge is fine. It's in this groove here. You don't want anything getting in there. So I do have to fix that little area right there. But yeah, just some masking tape. That's all you need to do. And then the second thing I'm going to do is prop it up on a few cups so it's not laying flat on the table when I work on it. Okay, so I have the cups under there holding it up. This way, the technique that I do, when it dries, it doesn't stick to my table, okay? So you want to prop it up for sure. And then the next thing you want to do is you want to clean it down with some rubbing alcohol, which I've already done. For the design, I'm going to be doing multiple techniques. So this is going to be kind of a mixed media toilet tank lid. And so first I'll show you what I'm going to do with the acrylic paint, and then I'll move on to the next step. Okay, so this is very simple to do. This is Floetrol. You could buy it at Home Depot, Lowe's, or on Amazon. You'll need some acrylic paints in different colors. And what we're going to do is thin down the acrylic paints with the Floetrol so that they become more fluid and able to pour out. So I have some silvers, I have a graphite, I have some grays, white, a dark blue. The palette will be your choice, of course. And the first thing I'm going to do here is just pour some of this Floetrol into a cup so it's easier for me to handle. The big jug is heavy. So what I'm doing here, I'll give you the exact measurements. I've done this for years, so I know what the exact measurements are. I don't have to measure out, but this is 2 ounces of acrylic paint. And then I add to that 6 ounces of that Floetrol. I mix them together, and it's a perfect consistency for what we need to do today. So if you're a ratio person, that would be 1 part paint to 3 parts Floetrol. If you're using a medium body paint, as I am, this is the perfect consistency, these 2 measurements. What you're looking for is for the paint to flow off of the stick. So make your individual colors, follow this recipe, and it's as simple as that. When it comes to metallic colors, because they have mica products in them to make them shiny, the paint may be a little bit thicker than your other colors. What you'll want to do is follow those measurements and add just a tiny bit of water, maybe like a teaspoon of water to it. Give it a good stir and make sure it looks like the other colors. If it still looks a little thicker, just add a little more water, stir it in, and just keep testing it against the other non-metallic colors to see if it flows off the stick the same way. So now that you've seen how I mix these paints, the most important thing for you to remember for this to turn out right and for it to look good is they have to all be the same consistency. All of the colors need to be the same thickness after you mix them. So you want the paint to flow off of the stick and leave a nice little fluffy mound and slowly disappear. All right, that's what we're looking for with each color. And I know it's hard to see with some of these colors because they're dark. Sorry about that. Let me get a better color here. So you see it flows off the stick and it leaves a little mound and slowly disappears. If you try doing this, it leaves a trace on the surface, slowly disappears. So that's what you're looking for. Just in the same thickness category as each other, okay? What I'm going to do now, and again, this is only step one, and this is probably the easiest part, is we're going to combine these colors into a cup together, and we're going to pour it over the tank lid. The first color that goes in the cup is going to be the last color that comes out of the cup, so you're going to see a lot of that on top. So if you want a predominantly silver lid, you're going to put in silver first. If you want more blue to show, you're going to put that in first. If you want a little bit of each color, you're going to put in a little bit of each color and just layer them. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put a little bit of white, just like that. If you pour from up high, it will blend together in a cup. If you pour down the side, they will layer on top of each other. Okay? So you see how that went on top? But now, if I come in with my silver and I pour from up high, you're going to see it go down. I don't know if you could see that or not. It's going down into the other colors. So if you want nice little rings in your design, I suggest pouring each color down the side. If you want it to look like mine today, just pour them all together like I'm about to do. That is some Payne's Gray. Put a little more white. This is an interference blue, which means it looks white, but when it goes on top of a dark color, you're going to see a blue shimmer. That's what those types of paints do. It's a little bit of white. And the fun thing about this is that we can keep pouring over this lid until we like what we see on there. So I'll just speed up the rest of this. I'm just adding my colors into the cup, and we're going to get on with having some fun. Now for you out there that are not homeowners and you're thinking, I wish I could do that because it's beautiful, but I have an apartment and I can't do that. They do sell replacement tank lids at Home Depot. I looked for mine, it was like $40. So if you ever have to move out, you can always buy a replacement tank lid. But you have to make sure that you can find the right one for your toilet, okay? But if you're a homeowner, the world's your oyster, my friend. I'm going to wipe it down one more time with the rubbing alcohol just to make sure it's nice and clean. And here we go. I'm just going to pour in a circular motion for now. When it comes to how you pour this paint out, it's totally up to you. You could do some zigzags. You can go back and forth. You can pour squares. I mean, literally, however you want to pour it out, you can pour it out. If it was a little warmer here in Connecticut, I would have taken it outside and just tossed the whole cup at it to see what I end up with. That's the fun thing about acrylic pouring. It's always a surprise what you're going to get at the end. So now what I'm going to have to do after I've poured all my paint out is I'm going to have to cover the lid with it. So I'm going to pick the lid up and tilt it around to help guide the paint over the edges. Let's just help this along a little bit. Tilt it this way. Go off the back. These colors are going to be stunning. They're going to match my bathroom perfectly. Right. Now we're going to come forward a bit. Just like that. All right, we're going to let gravity do its job for a bit. I'm going to pour a little bit more over in this corner. And again, over here, same thing, except I'm going to kind of just guide where I pour this. Now you're going to see I pour some ribbon designs over it. Those always add a lot of interest to your artwork and create some movement and flow. Now, if you're new to this, you may not know that by thinning down the paint with that Floetrol that I showed you at the beginning, it creates some really cool effects like cells and lacing. And cells are just these little round circles that have color inside of color, almost like the inside of a jawbreaker. And it's a really cool effect. So now that we've done this, we need to let it dry, and we'll come back for the next step. So here we are. It's 3 days later. It's all dry. If you live in a warmer climate, it will definitely dry faster than 3 days, but I live in the Northeast and it's cold, so 3 days it was. But you can see I got some beautiful boulder looking shapes, uh, beautiful ribbons, and it just really looks simple yet classy. So now, if you want, you can end here and we could seal it. I'll show you how to do that in the end of this video. But I want to take it a step further and add just a little bit of sparkle. In my last one, I used actual crushed glass to make almost like a geode design, and I loved it. But anyway, this one turned out fantastic, and so we're going to move on and add a little bit of glitter to some clear Elmer's glue. We're going to make our own homemade glitter paint, and we're going to put it on using this fine tip point applicator bottle that I got a 2-pack for $1.79 at Hobby Lobby. And let me correct myself. This is not glitter paint. It's a glitter glue that we're making homemade. Very simple. There's no need to go out and spend, $5 on each individual bottle. Just get yourself some clear Elmer's glue and make your own. Store them in tiny little bottles. So I just needed a little bit because I'm just going to do some fine detail work. I want this to have a little sparkle, but not be over the top like my last one was with the crushed glass and all of that. So this is the consistency of the glitter. You want it thick, but you don't want it not to pour off of the stick, drizzle off the stick, I should say. So get it to that consistency and then go ahead and have some fun adding into your piece here. I'm just adding some straight glitter lines throughout the artwork, and I'm going to let it dry. And then when we come back, I'm going to show you how I sealed this and give you suggestions on how to clean it, all of that. Because after all, it is in a bathroom, so you're going to have to wipe it down. I was having a hard time with that little bottle. The glitter was clumping in that fine point. So I just used a toothpick to kind of drag it down and get my straight lines. Turned out fantastic. And don't forget, front sides matter too. So don't just concentrate on that upper part. Make sure you drag those glitter lines down the front so it looks like it's a complete project. You don't want to have them stop right at the top there. So now this is how I personally seal it. You can use something like varnish. However, resin is the way to go. I use KS Liquid Art resin. It is a 2-part epoxy. You combine equal amounts of each part into a cup, mix them together very thoroughly for 3 to 5 minutes. You want to make sure while you're mixing that you scrub down those sides of the cup, scrape them down with the stick, scrape the bottom, and continue to mix. Now, when it comes to something important like this is not a canvas. This has to go on my toilet. I want to make sure that resin is really mixed well. So what I personally do is I take it from the first cup I was mixing it in and I dump it into a second cup and mix it for another minute. This way I know I got every little bit of resin mixed in well. Because if you don't mix it well, it doesn't harden right. You'll have soft spots. But again, if you want to use varnish, you can. Now, as for cleaning, okay, you just want to take a damp cloth and wipe it down. You don't want to put harsh chemicals on there. You want to use something like a damp, warm cloth with maybe a little bit of mild dish soap or a little bit of glass cleaner is fine as well. Just no bleach, things like that, because it will affect the surface. It won't affect it immediately, but over time, I think it will. And now I've never personally experimented with that. Maybe it doesn't. I just can't see bleach being a good thing for a resin surface. So now that I've mixed it up, I have now poured it out onto the top of the lid, and I'm going to use my hand to shove it over the edges and make sure that the sides and the front and the back edge there are thoroughly coated. You want a nice glossy coat over the entire thing. And what it does is it provides a rock hard surface. It provides a high gloss finish. And you can go ahead once it's fully cured and add on your tissue box or whatever you have to put on top of the back of your toilet if you put something there. So now that I've got it spread out everywhere with resin, you have to pop the bubbles, and there's 2 ways. You can use a creme brulee torch like I am, or if you have a heat gun or an embossing tool, you can use one of those to pop the bubbles. I like the little creme brulee torch, so that works good for me. But we're just going to pop all the little bubbles in the surface, and then some chemistry is going to happen, and it's going to start to cure. And before you know it, 24 hours has passed, and here we are. Look how beautiful that came out. Look at the beautiful gloss on the surface. I'll show you the sparkle in a minute because it's very hard to see on camera. Really, really happy with this one. I wanted to tell you when I did this the first time, it led to about 35 to 40 side jobs because everybody wanted one of these for their toilet. So it could turn into something for you if you give it a try. It's a really easy home improvement project, and it doesn't take much as far as, buying supplies and all that. And it's so many ways to be creative with it if you really want to. So, my friends, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please remember to click the like on the way out, and more importantly, leave a comment letting me know what you think and if you're going to try this. I love you all. And until next time, which is next Sunday, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, happy creating!